Yo, what's up, y'all? It's your boy Ben Mahari here, representing Mahari Nation Sports Podcast. Boy, I tell you, Terrence Crawford really put me in my place on Saturday night when he basically outbucks and punished Canelo Alvarez in the middle of the ring in Las Vegas. So, I'm going to give you guys my 2 cents of the fight. Here's my 2 cents. Basically, heading into this fight, I felt like Terrence Crawford was making a monumental mistake by basically accepting this fight, because you don't typically go up 2 weight classes to face against another fighter, especially in the caliber of Canelo Alvarez, because in most instances fighters that have done that have ended up in getting hurt or getting outboxed, or they lose some of their speed and quickness and lateral movement and some of their strength. But to many of our surprise, Terrence Crawford actually was able to make the weight effectively and wasn't too affected by it at all. But we also have to remember the fact that he also hadn't fought in a year, so ring was kind of the big question heading in there. So my prediction of the fight heading into it was that I thought that Canelo was going to pretty much punish the smaller Terrence Crawford. But boy, I was wrong. The whole fight that I saw, especially when watching the fight, and also rewatching some of the highlights of the fight, Terrence Crawford did an outstanding job standing toe-to-toe with Canelo Alvarez, using lateral movement, basically punishing him into the body, basically counter-punching Canelo Alvarez. I mean, it was so dominant that even the judges had no choice but to give a lot of those rounds to Terrence Crawford. It was so dominating. And you want to know the scary part about it is that when the opposing trainer, Eddie Reynoso, is basically doesn't have anything else to give for Canelo in terms of advice, in terms of trying to figure things out, how to using some counter punches, using some of the lateral movement to try to lure Terrence into some counter punches. Yeah, Eddie Reynoso was in a loss of words. He basically was going there for your family, Canelo, through translation. Kind of like, when your corner is saying that just is an indication that your corner has nothing to give. While Bomac, the great trainer that he is giving sound advice to Terrence Crawford. And boy, did Terrence Crawford follow his advice to a T. And I only gave at least 2 rounds to Canelo the whole fight. That's about it. And honestly, bro, it could have been a washout. But the 115, 113, scores were just it was too suspicious for me. 116, 112, I could understand it. But either way, those were dominant. Those were basically one of the most dominant performances I've ever seen from Terrence Crawford. And now he has become the first man in the 4-belt era. Now, I want to make it clear, he's the 3rd man in history to become undisputed in 3 weight classes. But he's the first fighter in this particular. He's the first fighter in the 4-belt era to become undisputed in 3 weight classes. Not even Floyd Mayweather, not even Oscar De La Hoya, or even some of the greatest fighters of previous generations has ever done that. That is impressive. And the fact that he continues to do it in his late 30s is more and more impressive. I mean, Terrence Crawford right now is on a rampage. It's been on a Hall of Fame rampage. And now he is basically putting the final touches on his Hall of Fame legacy. And I'll be honest with you, if you put Terrence Crawford in any era of boxing, he would have long-term success. I'm serious. The man can counterpunch. The man can fight either stance. He's powerful, and he's very excellent with his footwork, great lateral movement. The man enjoys boxing like it's basically his passion. The guy knows everything about boxing. He knew all of the strengths and weaknesses of his opponent. And the fact that Madrimov was a bit of a challenge for him really goes to show how talented Crawford is, but more importantly, how easy he took it against Canelo Alvarez. And he was looking to knock out Canelo. Seriously, within round 10, he stood toe-to-toe with him, and he was looking to try to knock out Canelo. And he missed the right hand not by much. And that's where kind of the ring rust came in. But either way, this was a dominating performance by Terrence Crawford, and it's going to go down as one of the greatest performances of his career, up there with the Earl Spence knockout performance. I mean, The way that he has demolished his opponents has been unbelievable. From undisputed at 140, 147, and then you move up 2 weight classes to become undisputed at 168, skipping 154 and 160. I mean, right there in of itself is basically Hall of Fame credentials. I mean, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer right now. If Crawford decided to retire now, he's already in the Hall of Fame. There's nothing to argue about anymore. Now, I know one thing is for certain. I don't know if Canelo's gonna continue boxing after this. I mean, he looked really, really slow against a dominant fighter. There's a reason why Canelo decided to take all those fights against guys that were slow plotting and were easy targets for him. There's a reason why. Because against guys with faster and more lateral movement and with crisp counter punching, listen, people would think that power was what does it. That's part of it. But the quick, precise counter punching consecutively is the ones that continues to add up early in the fight and continues to add up later on. So I just don't know if Canelo's going to continue boxing at this point. I really don't know. I know that people want to see him take on David Benavidez because people feel like that Canelo owes them that fight. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think Canelo's going to give him that fight. I don't think Canelo wants nothing to do with David Benavidez. If he was able to get outboxed against a smaller Crawford, what makes you think he's going to go in there and defeat against a taller, stronger, and basically much more of a powerful David Benavidez at 175? I just don't see it happen. I don't think Canelo's going to be that stupid to take that risk. I can see him possibly retiring after this, especially if how he was pretty much outboxed and pretty much outpunched. So I can see that to be possible. So we'll see what happens. But all I got to say is to all the hater channels out there in YouTube, Terrence Crawford put you in your place against Spence, and now he put the big final FU signature to his critics against Canelo Alvarez. This man, I'm telling you right now, if you don't think that he's going to continue on boxing, you may think again. He might continue on. Or hell, he might even retire after this and be content with his career. And I would have no problem with it. Because he's done everything in boxing. And you can question his business motives. You can question a lot of different things. But one thing is for certain. When it comes to that square circle in the middle of the ring, there's no one that could dominate against Terrence Crawford. And like I said before, and then I'm going to end it up by saying this. If you put Terrence Crawford in any era of boxing, he would have long-term success. And he matches up there with some of the all-time greats in the history of boxing. So that's my 2 cents of the whole situation. Congrats to Terrence Crawford on a great performance. And he's basically set in stone for the Hall of Fame. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. And with that, I'm out. Peace.